this piece, I want to talk about green mortgages. Now, Rishi Sunak, back in September, to the relief, I'm going to say, of the vast majority of landlords, ditched the potential EPC changes that he had in mind. Great relief to, I think, the majority of us, that he wasn't going to insist that you increase the energy efficiency of your properties to a C or above. That was going to be the massive change for us as landlords in the next coming years. So you might be forgiven for thinking, if that's ditched, the EPC conversation is also dead and buried, and that's not the case. So I want to just revisit what lenders are doing right now, what opportunities that you may have as a landlord to get better deals, lower rates than you might otherwise get if your EPC rating is lower. So the first of all to say is that over the last 2 years, lenders have been moving towards offering green mortgages for you. Now, what is a green mortgage? Essentially, it's a reflection of the EPC rating on your property. So generally speaking, if the EPC rating is an A, a B, or a C, now with some lenders it's just A and B, but if it's an A, B, or a C, then you will likely to be eligible for lower priced products than if you're on a D or lower. So they've got this differentiated category of products now. A to C get lower rates, D and lower, slightly higher rates. So there's the line in the sand. Now, there's over 3 million buy-to-let properties. PRS stands for private rented sector. That's the third bullet point here. Over 3 million properties in the UK, buy-to-let properties, that are on a D or below. So right now, you're locked out of those lower products. So the first thing I will be asking myself as a landlord is, how do I get from D to C? Because there's extra savings we can unlock. So again, a point you might want to write down here is, what rating am I on? And if you don't know, then get onto the gov.uk website for EPC register. It's a public register. You'll be able to find what your rating is. So at least you're fully informed as a starting point. The second thing is, if your EPC has expired, then you need to know about that, because if you're submitting an application to a lender and actually the EPC has expired and you wouldn't know about it, you're going to get declined until that's refreshed, and that can clearly will delay things. Now, another point about getting declined for applications, I said that there was over 3 million buy-to-let properties that have got a D rating or lower. Let's just dig a little bit under the surface of this, because within that category, there's 200,000 properties that have an F or a G rating. Now, why does that matter, given Rishi Sunak's potential legislation got chucked into the bin? Well, lenders will decline you if your EPC rating is an F or a G. So it's in your interest to understand where you're at right now across your whole portfolio, for no other reason that you would get declined. Now, what if you are in that lower category? You're one of those either 200,000 or indeed in the 3 million where you're in that lower category rating. What can you do about it? Well, the good news is there are government grants out there. You don't have to look too far to find pots of money to help you. Now, you're going to say, well, look, government helping landlords? Surely not. We normally get a kick in from the government. But look, go onto the Ofgem website. There's something called the GBIS. This is just one example, the Great British Insulation Scheme. The Great British Insulation Scheme. Pot of money aimed at tenants initially. Now, if they're vulnerable tenants or the tenants are on low income, that's the eligibility criteria. So that isn't about you, it's about a tenant. However, this pot of money might also be unlocked if the EPC rating is D or below. So clearly there's 3 million properties that could well be eligible for this insulation grant to start to get your rating up there. Now, it might be you want to do some improvements to the property that's not eligible for grants. It might be you want to do improvements to the property and you're already locked into a deal and you can't actually access the equity. You don't want to touch your savings. So does that mean you've got to wait until your fixed rate ends in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whenever that is? No, because most lenders, maybe not all of them, but a vast majority will offer something called a further advance. I guess most landlords will understand that, maybe even access them before. But for those that have not come across this phrase, that's essentially an application for a mini mortgage with your existing lender. So it sits separate over and above your main mortgage, but it's important to say it's with your same existing lender. So you don't have to wait till your deal ends. You could check out whether you could get a further advance. Now, here's the thing. If you can demonstrate that the further advance is for energy efficiency improvements, then a lot of lenders will offer improved interest rates for that further advance than if it was for other purposes. So again, you can avail yourself. It's something you're going to do anyway. Speak to your broker because he or she will understand about further advances, about whether your lender will offer them, and if they actually offer this differentiated, even lower interest rate for further advances. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, you want to get more into doing energy efficiency improvements, and you might want to take advantage of the further advances, then follow the link, have a chat with the team, and let's see if we can help you.